What's going on, peeps? Mastermind here, and today's video is going to be about the recent news concerning the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One possibly having hardware upgrades. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was some chatter over at Microsoft talking about how they may end up doing some hardware upgrades to the Xbox One in the future. The information and everything was very vague. Same thing with the PlayStation 4 this week. So before I really get into that, let me just say the gameplay you're looking at here is PT. And the reason why is because it was freaking awesome, and screw you, Konami. I'm showing off the game that you just let totally disappear, disappointing millions of people all over the world. And not to mention, I had a blast playing it, so I figured I'd show some footage of it because I really haven't put any footage of it on my channel. So here it is. Anyway, moving on to what I want to discuss. Now, what I really want to talk about is what this means for the console business in general. Now, I know a lot of speculation is going behind that this is somehow connected to their VR set and everything, which I have no doubt that there's some sort of idea going behind this. But let's be realistic. I think the more likely thing we're going to see in video gaming is 4K resolution gaming become more of a prominent thing. That's going to happen before VR becomes more of a prominent thing, in my opinion. I think there'll be a small market for people who really want to play VR games, and it'll probably continue to grow until they really perfect it. Maybe we might have some 3D TVs. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix, but I will kind of imagine VR gaming to be something like what you see in that movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty cool. But anyway, VR is going to be more in the future, I think, than in the present future. It's going to be more in the distant future. As far as 4K gaming is concerned, I think that's something that most people are going to want to see. If you even go to like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, anywhere where they sell televisions, you're starting to notice that a lot of 4K TVs are really dropping down in price, including even the curved ones is going to be, I'm going to say by this time next year, we're going to see 4K TVs, $500-$600 tops. They're going to really come down. And I think most people who are out to buy new televisions are going to end up buying 4K TVs. So anyway, it would make a lot of sense for our gaming consoles to be able to do that. I've had the debate where a lot of people feel like console gaming is just going to totally disappear and it's going to be gone. And I've been saying, that's not going to happen. I don't know why this whole idea that PC is going to dominate to the point where we don't have consoles anymore. What's going to end up happening, I believe, is PCs will continue to do their thing, but so will consoles. And we're going to start seeing consoles have upgrades. Now, we've had upgrades for consoles in the past. This isn't by any means a brand new thing. We've had the Nintendo 64 expansion pack. We've had Sega CD, the 32X. We've had these type of things in the past, and usually they don't fare off too well for the console market for some reason. They don't really last that long. And I think part of the reason why they haven't really been successful is because of marketing. It's because of what was going on at the time. Usually these things were trying to keep up with other consoles that were already out, whereas consoles now are trying to keep up with PCs, and technically I don't even agree with that statement because I don't think consoles are really battling PCs. I think consoles still dominate and control the market because when they make a video game, they make it specifically to make sure it's running on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and then whatever it is that they can do to make it better on the PC is how it works. It's not the other way around where they're focused on how the PC version turns out and then they scale it down for the consoles. That's not what they're doing right now. That's why we are not seeing that many more ports to 360 and PS3 anymore, because it really doesn't make sense to have a high-end PC game and then slightly downgraded for the consoles and then really downgraded for the last generation consoles. So what we're looking at right now, pretty much what you see on the PlayStation 4 and what you see on the Xbox One, it's not that big of a huge leap when you play it on PC. I don't know why people keep arguing with this. You see a better frame rate and you see a higher resolution, but for the most part, the visuals that you're looking at on PC are almost the same as what you see on the consoles. Obviously it's cleaner and obviously it's smoother, but it's pretty much the same experience. I know PC lovers will probably argue that point with me, but let's be realistic here. One of the nicest graphically intense games that you can possibly play on your PC will pretty much perform almost the same on your Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Again, for you tech heads out there, you're probably going to see a big difference, but to the average person, it's pretty much the same thing. So what they want to do is possibly upgrade these consoles so that way we can have 4K resolution. 4K TVs are coming down, and I think Microsoft and Sony recognize that. I also believe that with the current technology now, it would be very easy for them to do this. And let me explain what I think is going to happen. I don't think that for current PlayStation 4 owners and current Xbox One owners, we're going to get an add-on. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to upgrade the PS4 and upgrade the Xbox One and new units that come out. And every game that they release with it will be backwards compatible with current PlayStation 4 and current Xbox One units. It'll be just like the PC, where if your PlayStation 4 can't handle a 4K resolution, then that game you'll be able to operate it, but you won't be able to turn on the 4K option. If you have a PlayStation 4.5, there'll be that graphic option where it's just gonna either automatically be at a 4K resolution, or it'll give you the options in the menu if you have a PlayStation 4.5, and just for argument's sake, we'll call it the Xbox 1.2. If you have either one of those consoles, you just turn that on, turn the 60 frames per second on or higher if it can handle it, and there you go. And I know a lot of people think, well, then what would be the use of having a PC if they're upgrading your consoles? Well, I think the PC market, as far as technology is concerned, will always be ahead of the console market, no matter how many times they upgrade the consoles. If they upgrade the consoles, I think it may be 1 or 2 times within its lifespan. Probably, if they are doing a PlayStation 4.5 and Xbox 1.2, it'll probably be just one upgrade, and that'll be it. And then when it is actually time for them to go into a new hardware and bring out a new console, obviously it'll be a lot more powerful than a 4.5 or an Xbox 1.2. So that's what I think will happen. I don't think it's going to be this huge thing where you have to get like something that you snap on the back of your PlayStation 4, your Xbox One to make it catch up with the new systems. Now, I do think they may offer programs like if you have a current PlayStation 4 and you want to upgrade it, you can trade it in and you'll get this credit or you'll get that credit, and you'll get a certain amount of money off or whatever, because they don't want to slight the people, their user base that's already existing. But if anybody wants to upgrade, they'll be able to, whether they go out and purchase one brand new or trade in their old consoles. So I think those are the different options, and I think we will see that. I don't think it's going to hurt the PC market that much, but I do think the PC market will take a blow because, let's be honest, I know plenty of people who are PC gamers who have upgraded their PCs and they've spent hundreds and thousands of dollars getting their setup totally perfect and beautiful and amazing and top of the line, and it can run any game, and that's not a problem. Okay, so you have that gamer. That type of person isn't going to go anywhere. But if you have somebody who's kind of looking to get somewhat the best, but maybe they don't want to spend that much money, but they also maybe have a friend that has a PC and they want to play things in 4K, they have a 4K TV, why not go with one of these consoles? You figure $400 or $500 tops they're going to spend on it, and they got 4K gaming. That, I think, is a better option, and that's why I've been saying for the longest that I don't think for one single moment that console games are going anywhere, and console gaming in general. I think it's just going to continuously keep giving gamers options. We have mobiles with tablets, we have PCs, we have 3DSs, we have consoles, we have different generations of consoles. I mean, there's so much variety in gaming now. Even if you take a look at some of the games that I'm interested, or maybe you might be interested in the same games, it goes anywhere from Cuphead, which is a 2D game, all the way to Quantum Break, or you got Killer Instinct Season 3 versus Dive Kick. People are still playing Dive Kick, or some old Street Fighter game. I mean, there's so much variety as far as gaming is concerned that no one can ever look at one single company just totally dominating. There's a market for Nintendo people, there's a market for PC gamers, there's a market for people who play Candy Crush, Angry Birds, and all that stuff. There's a market for hardcore PC graphic horrors, there is a market for pretty much every single type of gamer, and is going to continue to be a market for these things. I think the biggest threat to video games are free to play. A lot of these MOBAs, even games like The Division and Destiny, I think these type of game models, if they continue to go this trend where they're giving us kind of half-ass games and people are buying them by the millions, I think that's probably the single greatest threat to gaming as we know it. But other than that, I really don't see anything really hurting this industry as far as new things that we're doing, whether it's VR technology or just continuing to promote and support indie gaming, which that has taken off really big in the last couple of years. But for the most part, I would say console gaming is here to stay, and this is overall really good news. Anyway, that is going to be it for this video. If you got something to say, don't forget to leave a comment below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Mastermind out.
Purchased a rifle used in the crime at his local gun store 2 days earlier. This brutal killing took place while the family was gathered at home.
Until that time, raw rhymes undercover, underground, Danny Glover undiscovered in my town, but they all
blasting y'all, overcasting y'all.